Hello, cosmic crew, galactic travelers. What's up? I know I start off like that. I just always have to say hello the Christy way. Just have some messages coming in. These are just little thoughts and knowings that we've been able to put together, and it's coming online that others are asking these questions of their higher selves and of the universe. And so I felt the need to share this. The difference between gifts, our gifts, when we start awakening and the first phase is understanding what's going on, why you're having all these different emotions, really starting to understand that you're creating your reality, that you're a spiritual being having a human experience, and integrating that knowledge within yourself, right? To me, that's phase one. Phase two is the most difficult part of this journey. At least it's been for me, because this is the one that I just got through. So don't really know, what the future brings. This is going to be an ongoing journey this entire lifetime for show. But the second phase is then integrating this energy and these knowings as they're still awakening within you, and all of this knowledge is coming online, and you're understanding your astrology and the energy and the transits and emotional triggers and why they're coming up, and why the hell did that person just pop back up in my life, or why do I feel like I'm being psychically attacked by somebody, but understanding that it's just really an experience that you're mirroring in your life, so that you'll make an adjustment so that you can understand the lesson. And, with these retrograde planets and going over, we get forward, and then where the planets are going back over things. And so we're going through this extreme cleansing right now. And in especially that first and second phase, as humans, and I went through this, and this is why I'm talking about it. And I just had this thought and was caught myself criticizing myself in a way, or feeling like I need to explain how I receive information, because we compare ourselves as humans, right? Which is what we learn not to do, but it's programming. We look at others to try to define what's going on with us, and then we compare. Oh, well, I'm not getting information like that, so maybe it's not the real information. Especially when we're in phase one and phase two, because when we're in that first phase, everything's this light and dark, because it's the programming that we were in. It's overcoming that comparison and understanding that there's so many colors in white and in black. The many colors of the rainbow, right? The rainbow prophecy. So I wanted to talk about those rainbow colors, meaning our gifts and how different they are, and how especially we receive messages. For me, and again, we're all different. This has to do with our lineage. This has to do with our DNA. This has to do with not only our human DNA, but our starseed DNA, our missions, why we're here, what energies we chose to come here. So for me, I have this 6-planet stellium in Libra. And what is Libra? The woman that's holding the scales, what does she have on her eyes? A blindfold. So when I was in phase one, phase two, and even today, that I'm going into this other integration phase, I catch myself comparing myself, because I don't have these incredible visions and these, I have dreams, but they're not real visual. I don't have these channelings. There's so many that are gifted with these channelings, and it's been the main focus of a lot of the spiritual beings that are sharing their stories. And it's a main piece, right? It's part of the puzzle. We all have our divine purpose. And the people that are able to channel and the beings that are here channeling information from all different beings are here to give us information. Then, there's other gifts, but then we also just have intuition and knowings. And, this one's a little bit harder to explain, and it's a little bit harder and not harder, I'm using human linear words, so please don't take them literal. It tends to be more difficult because it requires so much intuitive confidence. We have these natural abilities. We've always had them. And the programming that was set on us had taught us not to trust it, to overthink things, to overanalyze things, which is a program that I work on regularly. But just because you're not hearing a voice in your head or seeing a vision of an experience doesn't mean that it's not truth. And trusting our intuition is a process. Knowings for me, and I know many of you have it this way, right? You just might not define it the same way. But a year ago, and that's why I'm reminiscing, because it's been this full solar return. The toughest part for me in the beginning was I was having these just realizations, I guess is what you would call it, a flash insight. There wasn't a vision. I didn't hear any voices. It was just an overwhelming flood of information that I just knew. And some of it would just come online, a lot of ancient information, a lot of galactic history, information that I would just know. And then I would see something, an article, or right, these are the synchronicities that we're calling into our experience to trigger these memories. And so I would see something, I would hear something, somebody would say something, of course, because, we bring these people and these situations into our experience to remember. And then it's like I would just know. The pieces would come together and I would just know. And then I would go look it up to see if it was correct, because these were things I never even thought of. These were history. This was history I never had studied, never had really looked up. This goes to history. This goes to numerology was another one. Mayan symbols was another one that just came online, and being able to understand what the numbers mean and what that meant to me. And I have books and an entire notebook on number sequences and definitions of them, as I'm going back and looking at some of these realizations. So I wanted to share this because I feel, and I'm starting, and again, there's the word, I feel it. Some of us are such strong empaths that we feel these questions. It's in our DNA. It's like in our bones. I can't even describe it. And one gift is not stronger than the other. One is not more divine than the other. One is, we're all pieces of the puzzle. So I wanted to share this. I feel that there's so many, especially, depending on where your placements are and what your mission is, You know, there's so many of us that are awakening and are awoken that are hesitant to share our information because it's not coming in the way that we perceive divine information comes in, because the programming from the past relied so much on the mental and the thought process that we weren't trusting our heart. And the entire awakening, ascension, evolution of the galactic human, surpassing what our ancient civilizations were able to do and bring in, because that is what's happening right now. The consciousness that is grounded on this planet right now has never been on this planet in humanity before. Our ancients had the knowledge, but they had the heart, they had the intuition, but they didn't have the collective consciousness combined with the intuition that is available to us for the first time now, because there really has been an entire alchemization process of the human race. And it's all come full circle. So that information, that intuition, that shock realization that you just feel and know, go look it up. Go and honestly, some of the time you might want to look it up 4 or 5 times, because the first time you look it up there might not be that much information, because you unlocked those keys. That's why we're here. That's the purpose. Our DNA is, we're record keepers. This is why they could never get rid of this ancient knowledge, because it's in our cells. And when we awaken, it becomes online. That knowing that you have is an energy signature that needs to be shared. And sometimes it's just putting it in the internet and pulling information up. And that's and that's connecting it into the collective. And what happens, and what I've seen happen personally in some crazy, wonderful ways, both personal and in the collective and in the history, is I'll have knowings, I'll go search them out and not find that much information, or maybe not find what I was looking for at all. And then in my experience, something else will come up. It might be days, it might be months later, and I'll go search that information again, and bam, it's all over the place. People, you know, or afterwards, a YouTube videos will start popping up with the information, because we're all integrating it into the collective. So, you know, it's always not just about sharing and speaking it. And then I know in the beginning, that is the more difficult way for some, depending on, you know, our backgrounds and how we feel about sharing. But know that just researching and thinking about these knowings that you're having is changing humanity and adding it, because those thoughts are energy, and they're energy frequencies that then are picked up by others that resonate to that energy frequency. So it's like these little pinballs jumping all around, and just you sitting with your realizations, your remembrance, your knowings is triggering this, not just for you, but for all of us. I hope that helps. And I love you all so much. And I'm so grateful for every single one of you. So grateful. Talk to you soon.